Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to use Google Slides with efficiency. And I'm going to share with you my top 10 tips that I use pretty much daily to help make slides go quicker and more efficient for me. So tip number one, we'll get right into it, is how to link your slides to other slides and websites. So let's start with how to link it to other slides. I've got all my different slides here, tips 1 through 10. And if I wanted to link them to the different slides, all I have to do is highlight what I want, tip 2, and then push the link button. And I can link it directly to slide 2 theme builder. Now when I click tip 2, it's going to bring me exactly to tip 2. I could do that all the way through all the slides, kind of make a table of contents, if you will, so it's easy to click through and find things you're looking for. The second one we'll talk about is how to link to specific sites. So for this, you're going to need a website, and I like to have either text or an image. I prefer an image. So this is going to be my TCI website. So I'm going to get an image of social studies. I'll just grab a little globe here. Now I'm going to click on my website, copy it, Control C, go back, click on my globe, push the link button, and put Control V. So now this globe is clickable, that it can go straight to this website. I like to use this when I'm doing my daily lessons to keep me on task and focused, and that way the links are available and ready to go right there. You could also use this for research projects, and we're going to get into this in Module 3, but this is also how you can create choice boards and things like that with your students. Okay, tip number 2 is theme builder. So let me first show you an example of what this looks like. So I create the same kind of slides every day. It follows the same formula. So I use a theme builder so I can reuse the same template of slides and just edit certain things every day. So these are my themes that I've created. And let me show you how to do it. You're going to click View and Theme Builder. And then you have all these different layouts over here. So for example, with this one here, I chose to do Good Morning Class. If you want the text to be the same every single time, so you want this slide to only ever say Good Morning Class, you are going to go to Insert and Word Art, or Insert and Text Box, and type in exactly what you want it to say. However, if you're going to change your greeting every morning and you don't want it to be the same, you are going to go to this text here and you're going to insert a placeholder, either title, subtitle, or body. So you could do a title placeholder right here. And what that means is that on every slide, you're going to have this spot right here where you could just type your title. You can choose right now the font you want. I can go Happy Monkey. I can go to 40. I can bold it. And you could also choose the background color you want. So you can go to color and you can select any of these colors, or you can go to a website called Coolors. This is kind of one of the things I like to do. You don't have to sign up or do anything like that. You could just click the spacebar button and look at all these different colors, and it gives you the hex code for the colors. So if you see a color you really love, you're going to copy it to your color. You're going to click this plus button here, paste it with Control V, and now you have that background color here. How this works is you're going to exit out, and then let's say you want to create that custom slide. You want that back. You're going to push the plus button, and you're going to go to Layout, and you're going to see it is right there. You can reuse the slide color, the font, and everything like that that you created ready to go. It helps to make creation of daily slides much more efficient. Tip number 3 is adding narration to your slides. This is especially helpful for those kiddos who have accommodations in your classroom. So you're going to go to Insert, Audio, and you're going to click Recent or wherever your audio is saved, and you're going to choose your audio. I created this audio earlier called Tutorial, and you can see when I insert it, I have some options. It tells me I could play it on click, so the students will have to click it. Automatically, as soon as they get to this slide, it's going to read to them. I can loop it so it continues to play, or I can stop it when the slide changes. I could also choose to hide the icon, but I can't do that when it says on click. If I do automatically, now I can hide the icon. So how I made this audio is I went to my search bar down here. Now this works if you have a Windows 10. If not, you can use any other voice recording website, but this one is built into Windows 10. And I just typed in sound recorder. It's right here. You're going to want to make sure you push this ... go to settings, and make sure you are recording in WAV, W-A-V. This plays much nicer with Google Slides. Then you're going to record, and then you're going to go to show in folder. Now this is the easiest way I found to save it. You're going to go to your drive. I'm going to push this minimum button, so I'm split screening here, sharing two screens at once. And what you're going to do is choose your folder. Let's do my practice Google folder. And you're just going to drag and drop straight in. And now it's made a copy. Now that that's happened, you can go back to your slide, and it's going to be right there to be able to insert it straight in like we just did. Tip number 4 is click to reveal. You could do this to make your lessons more interactive with students. For example, you could put up a problem on the board and have them write down what they think the answer is, and then you can click to reveal. Or you could do it to make your lessons more paced and chunked and ensure students are paying attention piece by piece and not reading ahead. So how you're going to do it is you're going to take what it is that you want to cover. I want to cover this number 4. I'm going to pick a shape, and I'm going to cover over it with the shape. And now with this shape, I'm going to choose Insert Animation. I don't want it to appear. I want it to disappear on click. So now when I go to Slideshow and I click it, it disappears. You don't have to use a shape. You could also just do it with the number itself. Insert Animation, and it just appears when you're ready for it. So for example, 2 plus 2 is 4. So you have two options. You could have a shape cover, or you could just have the number appear itself. Tip number 5 is to add videos as timers or music. So this is helpful for small group rotations, when you want there to be some background noise, as well as a timer. You could do this during tests. However you want to do it is up to you, but you're going to go to Insert, Video. And if you have one saved on your Google Drive, you could use that, but most of the time I just use YouTube. You type in however many minutes you want. So for example, if my stations are 15 minutes, I might say 15-minute. And then I prefer to use classical music, but you could use whatever type of music you want. So I will type in 15-minute classical music timer. And then these are all the different types of timers I could use. I click it, and I just put it right here. All I have to do is push Slideshow and play. It will begin my 15-minute classical music timer. You could also choose to just go ahead and add music for a background. So if your students are working on a project and there's really no true timer going, you can again go to Insert, Video, and I like to type in classroom music instrumental pop. And this takes popular pop songs and it turns them instrumental. So the students like to listen to it, and you can be sure there's no inappropriate lyrics or words this way. Tip number 6 is to use word art if you really want your font to stand out. You heard me reference earlier when I talked about Theme Builder, but I like to use word art because it reminds me of PowerPoint and how you used to be able to create a fill color and a background color. You could do that with word art. So you're going to go to Insert, and you're going to go to Word Art. And you can type in anything you want. I'm going to type in Word. Now, using this word art, you can create a fill color just like you're used to, and you can create a background color. You can also make your weight of the color, and you can change the font as well. So you can have fun with all these fonts and really have your words and your text stand out in your presentations. Tip number 7 is to resize using the Shift key. Here's why it matters. If I want to resize my document right now, you can see that it kind of changes the aspect and the ratio, and it can make it really skinny. However, if I hold shift while I'm doing it, it makes sure that the aspect is the same the whole time. The height and the width don't change. Tip number 8 is a fun one. It is cropping your images into a shape. I love to use this one with students' photos when I'm making either a craft or if I'm trying to create like magnets or a buddy system. So what you're going to do is select the photo. You are going to hover over here where it says crop image, but you're not going to click it. You're going to click the arrow and you're going to select either shape, arrow, or call out. In this case, let's say I really want the student's picture in a lightning bolt. I would click it and now his image has been cropped into the shape of a lightning bolt. If I don't like that, I can go back and change it. Maybe I want a circle, or maybe I want a page of a book where it looks like the book is turning. However it is you want to do it, you could crop it to be what you need it to be. Tip number 9 is to make your work available offline. This is really helpful if you anticipate you might lose internet when you're trying to give this presentation and you want to make sure you could still have this document working for you, or you want to edit it while you're away from the internet. So you're going to go to File and Make Available Offline. So you're going to turn that on. So now this document is going to be able to be presented and edited offline. However, if you are editing offline, it's not going to officially save until you've gone back to an internet connection. But once you've gone back to an internet connection, all the edits you've made will be saved. And finally, tip 10 is to use those substitutions and shortcuts that we talked about in Google Docs. Here's what's really cool about Google Docs and Google Slides. They actually talk to each other. So when I go back to my Tools button here and I go to Preferences and Substitutions, you'll notice that those things that I created in Docs are still there. My shortcut for that benchmark and my shortcut for the student will, they're still there. I can also add more, but to use them, remember, all you have to do is get a text box, TSW, and it will automatically do that substitution for you. That's a good one you don't want to forget about. Okay, guys, those are my top 10 tips that I use all the time when I'm creating my Google Slides so they can be created quickly and efficiently. Now, it's time for you to go check out those Thompson tips and try some of these things out on your own with the checklist. And I'll see you in the next video as we get you one step closer to being a Google Master.